One of the interesting stories today in relation to Arsenal, as we sort of segued into it, here from Sam Dean, says that Benjamin Sisko's decision to remain at Leipzig does not necessarily mean that Arsenal will switch their attention to another centre forward. The club is also keen to strengthen in the wide positions and may now prioritise a winger instead of a traditional striker. There are obviously links to Joshua Zirkzee that have come out today for Arsenal, which I think were going to happen because they were linked before. Sky Sports have linked Man United to him. But could that be an alternative for Arsenal to maybe themselves go after an Olise or an Eze that are linked to the other clubs? Because they're in a much better position than Spurs, Chelsea and Man United. And maybe if you can add extra goals from wide positions, you can keep the sort of Kai Havertz move up front and they'll still be okay. Because they don't need, or do you guys think they need an out-and-out prolific number 9 to take them to that next level? Or is it just more goals in general they need?
Just more goals. They need someone else in that team who can get 14, 15 Premier League goals a season. Like everyone says about Haaland, you know, he's the only one carrying them this season. We've you know, Foden stepped up more than ever. You know, De Bruyne, when he come back from injury, had a fantastic run. You know, Doku's contributed, Rodri's contributed. With Arsenal right now, I just think they need more goals, another forward, or another attacking midfielder maybe. Because when like Martinelli dropped off this season, like his XG was very, very good, but I don't think I think he got 6 Premier League goals. Jesus didn't get that many either. Kai Havertz, you know, I think he surprised a lot of people towards the end of the season. But I do think overall they need another forward who can get 15 Premier League goals. Because when like the best teams in the world have someone they can lean on. Like Man City can lean on a Foden, can lean on a Haaland. Madrid can lean on a Vinny. Like other than a Saka in that Arsenal team, who can they lean on to get 15 Premier League goals? I know Odegaard and Martinelli did it 2 years ago, but they don't really have anyone else who's going to drag them through it. And like is it Joshua Zirkzee? I think he's at Bologna. I mean, that's another risk for me. I mean, only 1 year in Italy where he's done it again, but that's the market we're in. Like Rodrigo is a name that keeps being linked. I'm going to say this right now. Rodrigo is not going to leave Real Madrid for Arsenal.
Facts.
No chance. That is not happening. And you're talking, if we think Isak's 120 million, add 60 million to that. There's reports coming out. He's available for 90 million. Real Madrid are not going to sell a star boy.
Nah, and he's come out and said he don't want to leave anyway. So he ain't going there.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the sort of player they've got to bring in if they want to win the title. Like,
but Henry, you know what it is for me? Yeah, I think they're a bit confused now. Because you know the way that Havertz ended the season really strong? I think that's kind of like screwed him because I don't think they know should we stick with Havertz or should we go and get like a killer? You know, because like in January time last season or like February time, pretty much everyone, even Arsenal fans, were like, yeah, we need a big striker next summer. We need a Tony. We need someone to lead the line. Now, look how the conversations change. We don't even know what we're looking at here. Are we dropping Havertz? Because, by the way, all Arsenal fans are telling me that he can't play in the midfield. He's not good enough in the midfield. That's when they had the worst periods when Havertz played in the midfield. So what are we doing here? Are we dropping Havertz? But because of the way he ended, people are like, maybe we need to stick with Havertz. So then I think it's just kind of muddied the waters a little bit, to be honest with you, about what they need. They definitely need cover on the right for Saka, for when he's injured, and they also need someone there to push him. Yeah, because I think last year he could have been better a lot. And I think he needs someone there to help push him up a level. I think he's too comfortable, is effectively what I'm saying. Decision needs to be made on Martinelli. Bad year last year. Is it a bad year? Can he get back good this year?
Not just last year as well. It's the year before that.
Yeah,
where he had a bad year.
He was good too. He was good in that first season.
I
thought he was as well. I thought he was.
The season before that, he didn't have a great year. So when he got 15 Premier League goals, he was great.
Okay.
Hang on, not to get sorry. We'll go back to that in a minute. Not to get sorry, How old was he? How old was he then? 3 years ago.
The age is irrelevant. If you're good enough, you're good enough.
I don't know. When you're 19, we can't be judging people on consistency at 19, can we?
No, I'm not judging him on consistency. I'm saying like overall that season he wasn't that great. Then he was consistent for the next season, and then like I don't think Martinelli was actually that bad last season. Like in terms of his output, he was, but he had quite a few good performances. I just think Kai Havertz has kind of got him out of jail a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So there's a decision that needs to be at the end of the day, right? whatever team you are, whether you're City and you just won the treble, whether you're Real Madrid, you have to look at your team and you have to look at weaknesses, right? And you have to look at the players and go, who can we improve on? Now, it's all good, Arsenal fans sitting here going, oh, yeah, but we love Martinelli. We've had him for a long time. He's a great. Right. Is he a consistent performer? Yes or no? Gabriel Jesus, what are you doing with him? You can't just buy and not get rid of people. And I think all fans of all clubs do this. Fans of my club do it as well. You know, fans love to talk about bringing players in. And then as soon as you talk about, right, well, who we're letting go then? No, we can't sell him. We can't sell him. Well, hang on a minute. We have a squad of 35 or something. You know, you've got to get rid of players. And at the end of the day, and by the way, Arteta does come across as a bit of a ruthless manager. You know what I mean? That's one thing I will say about him. He will look at players like Gabriel Jesus. He will look at players like Martinelli, and he will look at them and say, "Are you good enough for me?" And if the answer is no, see you later. Don't matter what he did 18 months ago. Are you a consistent performer? Because ultimately, that's where Arsenal want to be. Arsenal want to be the clubs that are winning the Premier League, winning Champions League, and to do that, yeah, I know it. Terry knows it.
So can I ask you something? It'll be off the back of that.
Well,
off the back of that,
He don't know
would you
it.
sell Jack Grealish?
Finished off. I'm not like fully against it, bro. I'm not fully against it. If City sold him, I wouldn't be sitting here saying, "What are we doing?"
Well, he's in a similar situation to Martinelli, where he's
Well,
been
they're
very
not. No. He's not. He was a key component of our treble-winning side.
Yeah, but this season and his first season at City, he's been a bit very up and down.
Yeah. No, I agree. But he has more in the bank than Martinelli, 100%.
Oh yeah, he does.
I missed that. I read a message. Someone just we were talking about Luke Chadwick.
Luke Chadwick. I'm talking about Jack Grealish, who's a key component of our winning side. I'm saying if Pep Guardiola looked at him and went, "Great, you were minting the treble winning side, but you weren't good in the first year, you weren't good last year, and I don't think you're going to be good this year. I'm selling you." Then that's the right thing to do if that's what he believes. My opinion on Grealish, though, I'd keep him for another year because I think he's got the credit in the bank. But it doesn't matter whoever you talk about. If you think someone's not like Nunes, for me, he doesn't fit Man City, I'd sell him.
Yes,
I don't think he fits our style. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't think he fits our style.
Well, I listened to something that Barada said. I only listened to it because he came to Man United and doing your research on him, where he spoke about at City, there's almost like this 2-year rule. You have sort of 2 years to essentially prove that you're good enough. And I'm sure there's exceptions to that. There could be some that after 2 years are just starting to show glimpses and you give them another year. There are others that maybe 1 year in, you can just go, yeah, that was a dud, and you move them on. And it's one of the key components as to why Man City have become so successful is because they're ruthless and they make up for their mistakes sooner rather than later in the transfer window, or a player that comes through the academy that isn't progressing. And look, Man United in our pomp were like that. We had young Kiko Makeda that came through, and he came on to a point where, I mean, his debut is going to be that video and that goal against Villa will be played in 100 years' time, especially within Man United quarters. But it didn't take long for Fergie to go, nah, he's not good enough. Did that make, because you can't stand on ceremony. So I do agree that there has to be a conversation, and Arteta has to be ruthless. And the problem that Arsenal fans are going through is they're in this transitional period where when your team is, and I know that LB gets this because he'd have grown up like this. And Henry, I don't know if Henry's so used to it, it's become jaded. But when you're crap, right, and you're not winning anything, you are far more attached to players than when you're winning.
Yep, spot on.
I grew up when I was a massive David Beckham fan. Like as a kid, I adored the geezer, loved him. But he was sold. And I was probably sad for half a day. And who are we going to buy to replace him? Because Man United was my team, if that made sense. When your team isn't as good, you get latched onto players because that player, like Gerrard at Liverpool, I know he won trophies as well. I know he won trophies as well, so it adds a little bit to it. But when a team isn't at its optimum best, the player and their performances and the praise they get is often your trophy. It's your glory. It's the only enjoyment you maybe get out of your football team. And Arsenal fans are going through this stage where that's all they had for a long time, where it was just the occasional FA Cup and a player to praise, to actually we need to improve as a team. And then, it's like I think one of the most important positions for them to try and fill is someone not to back up Saka, but to challenge Saka's first team position. He's positioned to be under threat. And I think you'll even get an even better Saka, which makes your team better, or you'll get a player that makes your team better. There should be no scruples, no worry, no concern from Aguna about that happening. You look at the situation with City right now. Julian Alvarez is considering leaving because he wants first team football. But his presence is definitely pushed Haaland. Haaland knows if he isn't playing well, there's someone with the brilliant ability of Julian Alvarez ready to snap straight into that first team. And pressure can make diamonds or it can burst pipes. And you really want your club to be a team that's creating diamonds through pressure and not the other way. It was always my biggest issue with Anthony Martial at Man United is when he was the main guy and there was very little competition, he flourished and had good seasons. Every time a Zlatan or a Cavani or a Lukaku turned up, he underperformed. And I think it's because his character didn't take to that challenge. And I think that's okay at a certain level of club. But when you're at a Man City where they are now, when you're trying to achieve what Arsenal are achieving, it has to be ruthless, and you have to bring players in that they're not coming in to be happy just to sit on that bench. You want them to fight every single day. And as a kid, and I relate this to Man United because maybe the older generation will get it. We always felt, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's so happy to be on the bench. He's happy to just sit there on the bench and play. You listen to him speak when he retires, he wasn't. He was staying because he was fighting to be a first-team player. And it took him years, but he eventually got that status in the team. That's why he stayed. He didn't stay because he was happy to hold the bench. But that fighting every day in training helped make us a team that won so many trophies. And that is what Arsenal got to look for. So I don't think they necessarily need an out-and-out number 9. I don't. I think listen, they've broken their goal-scoring record 2 years running. But I think their fans have to encourage their club, because I do think fans play an important part. It doesn't matter what position you buy in. Look to improve every single area of your team as best you can. You really have, especially when it comes to the forward positions. Especially when it comes to those forward positions, it's so key. And listen, I look at Eze and I look at Olise being available, and I have felt this for a while. While Arsenal, who listen, I hate saying it, but it's the truth. They're in such a better position compared to the rest of us. Why would those players not choose Arsenal over Man United or Spurs or Chelsea right now? They might have their reasons, but as a general rule, a team that's challenging for the title, a club that's in the good position, playing excellent football, versus two teams in rebuilds and transitions with unknown managers and crazy high lines. Henry, that's for you. Like they should be all over it. They really should be all over it. I'm glad they're not.
You know what? Yeah, but you're right in everything you just said there. Yeah, but Arsenal can't take the foot off the gas because they've got themselves into this position, and there's no doubt Arsenal are a good team. They're a great football team, right? They play good football. They dominate a lot of the games that they play in, and obviously 2 years going for the title. You're not a crap team if you do that. But ultimately, they have fallen short 2 years in a row. I'm not having a dig. I'm just being genuinely serious. They got to keep their foot on the gas, and they have to go in again. They have to look at the squad last year and go, that wasn't good enough, clearly, because you didn't win anything. Who let us down? Now, there's no point, by the way, here in speaking about the Eddie Nketiahs, the Reece Nelsons of the world, because these guys don't play football for Arsenal anyway. Yeah, they're not a part of the team. So they're going. We all know they're probably going. We're looking at the players that are playing good minutes, solid minutes, that actually you need to upgrade on. So, like I say, is it Martinelli? Is it Gabriel Jesus? Do we, as Terry said, do you need to get another right winger that can compete with Saka? Possibly the answer to all those questions are yeah. I don't think there's a lot to do. I think defense-wise, you're pretty chill. I think you need another centre half, personally. I think you could do with another centre mid, like a Xhaka type player. And then it's about just improving the squad, but you can't take the foot off the gas, man. Arsenal fans this season need to be on their owners, on the board, demanding more players, demanding that they improve because they're so close. This is what the closest they've been to a title in, well, since the last one 20 years ago. It would be bad for Arsenal now if they just went, oh, we'll just do a little bit here or there. No. Got to keep the pressure on. Got to keep trying to improve. And if that means upsetting a few fans because they sell a few players that some Arsenal fans really like or that they've got an attachment with, well, so be it. You know what I mean? It's a football club. They've got to keep on improving. We'll see, man. Last year, I thought they'd done all right. You know what I mean? Getting the Rice in and that. They obviously got timbered. It didn't work out because of the injury. But I felt like they've shown a bit of intent. Obviously, the Havertz deal was weird, but they still went out and spent the money. They need to do that again. They need to go out there again and go bang, 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 and then go for it.